So the new G4 launch has happened a couple of months ago, but I'm gonna watch every single thing that they do because their podcast or streams are really long, upwards of 5 hours long, and I have a life. I'm not gonna look at every single second of their stuff. I'm gonna look at the highlights, whatever, when I see them. And Kotaku, of course they're going to do that. Kotaku has decided to upload a rant of one of the hosts on the show. And when I looked at it, the first time I saw her, it was either going to be her or the other one who kind of resembles a person of that community that was going to rant on something like that. I don't think the typical ones will rant, but her with the blonde hair and everything, like the les look. I'll just put it that way. The les look. Of course, she's gonna get mad. You know, there's a type. Okay, there's definitely a type, and I was like, she's definitely gonna snap there, probably more than anybody else, faster than anybody else, and she did not disappoint. It only took a couple months for her to snap and go on a rant. So this is me reacting to her rant. Also, at the same time, I'll be rebutting her rant and seeing if I can find any holes in what she's talking about. So from this point, I didn't see anything. So you can't see anything because I don't know who owns G4 in the whole thing. Just be on the safe side. This is just her audio. Therefore, it's fair use. Video, that's very tricky. Video music. So let's just go with her audio and I'll explain from there. You guys can hear clearly in the background.
As a child, but every time G4 is brought up in various channels, even in this YouTube channel, we have the chat in front of us. I can see you. Without a doubt, there will be backlash because I'm not as bangable as the previous hosts. It's so...
Hold up. Okay. So, about the chat thing. Get the chat. The chat is unbelievably random. Unbelievably random. No matter what. That's why I don't do chats anymore. They're unbelievably random. You get everything from praise to hate. You don't know what country they're from. You don't know what their background is. It's unbelievably random. You're never, and I mean never, going to get 100% positive satisfaction because there's always going to be some person out there that wants to buck the trend and be different and cause a stir and be like the drop in the oil that caused the flame or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right? The little spark in the oil that caused the flame. There's always going to be someone like that, right? So her to get pissed off by that one, not maybe, she definitely needs social media training. If she sees like a negative comment about her hair, her looks or whatever, roll your eyes and go, typical. Do not fight them. Do not fight them. You will never win. You can't win. The more the years pass on, the stronger their defense gets. You're never going to win against them. Because there's always going to be someone being like, it wasn't that bad. There's always going to be someone that says, it wasn't that bad. Always. So you're never going to win against them. And they're coming about the whole bangable situation. Of course. She kind of looks, let's be honest, she doesn't look like a typical woman, all right? And the audience is going to pick up on that one. The typical woman has the super silvery, soft-looking, long hair, the typical facial features. Of course. It's going to happen that way. And I don't know, like, especially the way things are nowadays with the whole pride, thing. You people, not you people, but you, the people, have to know that you can't say anything bad about any gender anymore. They're protected now. Protected in quotes for now. You can't say anything bad against them. You can make allusions to it, but you can't say anything directly bad about them. If they look a certain way or just a certain way, you can't say anything bad about them or you'll be canceled. For now. Like Bill Cosby, Dave Chappelle, for now. You know what I'm saying? So, the audience is going to always ask questions because you get every age, race, group, region of the entire world. and not everybody's going to fit that mold. I know that firsthand. So let's continue from here. She's not as bangable as the other ones. Well, everybody out there is not, every girl out there is not going to be bangable 100%. That's the way it is. Some girls are extremely hot and like bangable or whatever, and some girls are not. That's the way it is. I mean, like most guys that I know of, they have varying tastes depending on the minute of the day. Real talk. So that 1 minute or whatever that they see you, they may be thinking about, I want someone with long hair. Trust me, there's guys that like short hair, like the fresh bald look per se, a wig here and there, red hair, curly hair, straight hair, different faces, a little bit more makeup here, a tattoo here. You never know when it comes to guys. Their varying tastes are varied. You never know. So you never take it out on a guy or a girl or whatever, because humans in general, just like everybody else says, their mood changes like that. You can never be like, you can never, and I mean never be like, I wish for everybody to be on the same page forever. It's never going to happen. That's a decade plus social media experience they're talking there. I don't know if she, is it a she? I don't tranny. I don't know. I don't know if she identifiable. I don't know if she is this the first time on social media in front of a big platform. But I know for a fact that people will always say something nasty. They always will. I'll always try to get a rise out of you. Let's continue from here.
Talk to him, Frost! It has somehow been expected that you can talk about how much you jerked off to women as a compliment. It's not a compliment. It's DQ.
Okay. Jerk. Yeah, they clapped for that one, so I'm going to address that one. It's not a compliment to say you jerked off to a woman X amount of times. Yeah, it's not a compliment. They're just getting their opinions out. I mean, like, if I'm like, good, it's one of those good for you things. You don't really address it. Nobody really cares how many times you fapped to this thing or popped it inside there. Nobody really cares. They're doing it to get a rise out of you. That's another thing you got to ignore as well. They're saying it to get a rise out of you. And it worked.
And it's weird. Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. Morgan Webb, Olivia Munn did not exist to be nice on the eyes for you.
Let me hear what I think I'm going to hear. Exactly. Complete difference in the other thing I just heard. It was such a small reaction. It was such a small reaction, bro. Only the girls clapped, like 2 girls clapped in that audience there, but the other ones, everybody clapped of the whole thing to protect themselves. We all know Webb and Munn definitely existed to be pleasant on the eyes. And that Candace Bailey, I believe her name was, the final co-host, they all had one thing in common, if you know what I mean. They didn't get in. You told me you couldn't get an average-looking girl on there. It was kind of short, kind of portly. No, all of them happened to be model-esque. And you're telling me they didn't exist to raise your flag? Of course they did. Now you're fooling yourself. Let's go back to it.
Hey, she cooking, y'all.
And that's just obvious sexism. You don't need to explicitly objectify women or declare that you hate women to be sexist. Just go ahead and check out Thorne's latest meltdown on Twitter for some spark notes. Now, here at XPlay, our reviews are written and produced by a team of people. There are too many games for one person to shoulder the burden. So we divide and conquer. And when we use language like we or I, that's the reviewer. That's coming from the mouth and experience of the reviewer reading that review. And that's not to say that Gerard, TBH, Adam, or myself don't contribute to the reviews. We absolutely do. But it'll always be in varying degrees and take a whole team behind us. That's why we're XPlay and not Adam Play. We have done the experiment and controlled for the variables. Adam Adam will read a script written by the same writer that I will read the other half of the script for, but I'll be the one flamed. And yeah, it also happens to Gerard and TBH, but that doesn't discount the sexism of how it happens to me when it does. Both things can be true, that there is a general hatred of any change that isn't Adam, and that I'll receive special flame just for being a woman. And I wish I could turn the camera around so that you could see the incredible team that make X-Play. Half of our producers and writers are women. Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Gabby. It goes on and on and on. Former writers that are now on ATOS like Vanessa. When you're in our DMs or on those YouTube comments or in Twitch chat right now, those reactionary threads thinking that I'm somehow ruining your current X-Play experience because you can't objectify me how you previously did to Morgan, or that I'm somehow less qualified to speak on something, but you can't quite put your finger on why, even though I'm reading the exact same script as Adam, but you have no problem with he's part of it. You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day, and you're gatekeeping the gaming space. So maybe for 2022, we be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective, and we enjoy the fact that people are working hard to make free content for you. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
I just say I feel bad for you. That's a.
I don't need to go. I don't need to frost. I don't need to go. Don't. We're good. I'm good. I'm good. That was the best it's ever gonna get out of us. I don't need to go. Thank you for.
So their final comments about reading the same script and she gets flagged for it because she's a woman. Well, yeah, there's a reason why, big studio companies don't put the names of the writers and directors and everything like that on the show sometimes, because they want to hide certain things, like the ghostwriters per se. So they want to do that one for certain reasons because they don't want word to get out there. Like for example, when this Star Wars Mandalorian stuff there, whenever a woman is directing a particular episode of The Mandalorian, most of us can feel it because the action isn't as good, or there's too much talking in there, or there's a little bit more romantic like illusion going in there. The overall feel of the episode feels very not as visceral as a guy. We can feel it. And then by X-Play standards, by, completionist standards, we all know that the completionist is more or less written by him and his team, and he's regurgitating it out onto YouTube. When it comes to X-Play is like, the new X-Play is kind of different compared to the old one. Where the old one was more or less written and approved by Adam, this one's done by much more cooks in the kitchen. A lot of cooks. So it's difficult to get one coherent, straight path, narrow, like what someone thinks. The main issue I have with X-Play is I don't care who's doing what, but when you do a review of something on X-Play and you hate something, well, you can't use that word anymore in this era. When you are not the biggest fan of a particular thing in the game, and you don't really say why it's not that good, I got an issue with that one, because you're just regurgitating this shit out there because for clicks, views, baits, that kind of stuff. So I don't really care about most of their reviews. I can go on why, but we're not talking about that one right now, like the longness of their reviews. But when it comes to why something is good or bad, you blame the people in charge, not the person in charge. So it's really hard, because she's trying to get the word out there about the whole sexism thing, the feminist rights. So she's obviously feminist, obviously. So like she has strong passion about things, and that's fine. But what's not fine is trying to find reasons to point the blame somewhere else. There's a whole bunch of things I could talk about now, but it's just too damn long of a video anyway. So Feminism is not going to go away. Sexism is not going to go away. No matter how much you yell, bitch, scream about it, it's not going to go away. You have to deal with it. You have to deal with the assholes on the internet. You have to know they're going to do some bad shit. And that's that. I hate that it is that way. Oh, I can't use that word. I'm not a fan of the way that is. But me as a partaker of the social media network, I know bad things are going to happen. You can use it to your advantage and play with them in your own playful way. If you use certain terminology in certain pictures or GIFs or whatever that they don't understand, you win because they're too dumb to understand. So you can play with social media in your own way. But don't take it personally because they have no idea who you really are. They have no idea what your name really is, where you live, or where you go, or anything personal like that when they can't use the personal stuff there. And trust me, they would. If you give any kind of person any kind of leeway into your personal life, your personal history or whatever, they will take advantage of it. And that's why anonymousness is very important on the internet. But that's a topic for another day. I'm going to go back to watching AEW. That's it for now. Clack off.